Am I coming through clear? Okay, good. This is Houston here from Mission Control in Houston. There isn't much time, so I'll talk quick. Earlier today, we received a transmission from our Mars Base 1 over in Mariner Valley on Mars. Turns out a dust storm has knocked out their solar panels. For now, it looks like they're on backup power. Don't worry about our friends on the base, though. They're a tough bunch. They'll be okay. But their rover is stuck out in the storm, and they don't have enough power to save it. We need you city slickers at JPL in California to guide our buddy Rover home. Yes, we named our rover Rover. Y'all's top-notch communication systems are perfect for sending our orders up there. Look now, we here at Mission Control and our friends on Mars really appreciate y'all's help in this. Let's start off with a calibration signal. Send the rover forward to make sure we have a good connection.
This is an action block. It will command what the rover does. Drag an action block onto the assembly line and add it to the rover's commands. Click this button when you want the rover to carry out the commands you have given it. The commands will always be carried out from left to right. Send the calibration signal by dragging all of the move forward actions onto the assembly line, and then hit the compile button.
Wow! 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 Wow!
Well, I'll be. The connection looks good. Rover's ready to go. There's a sample of water not far from there. Could you go get the rover to pop on over and pick it up on its way home?
This is a rotate block. Its function is to rotate the rover in the direction you command. If you pair the rotate block with the forward block, you can navigate the rover around the rugged terrain. Remember, when you press compile, actions will be carried out from left to right.
Wow! 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 Wow!
That's the good stuff. We've marked another sample on your map. Snag it up for us, would you?
If you rotate twice in the same direction, you can turn around.
Wow! 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 Wow!
Woo! You are looking good. Enough with the small potatoes. Let's get on to the steak. Water, but the steak of water. It's a bit of a ways to the next sample, so to save you some time, why don't you just give one long command?
This is a for block. An action block can be placed in here instead of the assembly line. This number will determine how many times the action will be ran consecutively. Place the for block onto the assembly to move the rover across the clearing.
Wow! 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 Wow!
Oh, gee, partner. This terrain's looking a little tricky for our rover friend. Use those tools I was showing you earlier to grab that sample over yonder.
Wow! 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 Wow!
Yikes! Looks like our rover pallet's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
For blocks can be used for more than just moving forward. If you turn left 3 times, you can effectively turn right.
So remember, while 2 wrongs do not make a right, 3 lefts do.
wow, 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 wow.
Good news, friend. The storm is starting to clear up, and we're getting a much better signal to Rover. You should be able to send up some looping orders so that Rover can fend for himself. You know, just a little bit.
The assembly line now runs in a loop. This means the tasks will run repeatedly from left to right until the rover is told to stop. If you place this block on the assembly line and hit the compile button, it will run continuously.
Wow, 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 wow.
Now that's what I call good flying. Or driving. Roving?
Now that the assembly line runs in a loop, we can create whole procedures that will run repeatedly. If we create one procedure to move diagonally, we can keep moving all the way to the goal. Remember, the blocks are still read from left to right when you compile.
You ever seen a rover do a little jig? We call this one the Mars Shuffle.
Wow, 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 wow.
It's not much further now, partner. Why don't you loop something up real quick for our friend Rover?
4 blocks can be paired with loops for larger procedures. Similar to how we move diagonally, we should be able to make it around these corners.
Wow, 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 wow.
Now, I'll be honest with you, partner. This next part might get a little tricky. You can do it, though, if you believe in yourself.
This is an if block. Similar to a for block, you can place action blocks inside. This is a variable block. It can be placed inside the if block to complete a command. A variable asks a question and answers either true or false.
Don't you worry. Variable is just a fancy word for a thing that changes.
If blocks combine variable blocks with action blocks so that the rover can check something before deciding on an action. Read it like a sentence. If the variable is true, the rover should do the action. If the variable is false, the rover will do the next action.
Hold up there, cowboy. Before you can use a variable, you gotta tell Rover to set that variable.
This is the set value action block. Set value is a special kind of action block. It updates the meaning of a variable. Run the set value block before the if block, so the rover can see if the variable is true or false.
Wow, 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 wow.
Try this out. This next trick will really let Rover overcome any obstacle.
This is a variable. Just like the can move forward, it also holds the value of true or false. This time, set value will be true if there is nothing immediately on the left side of the rover. This can be used with an if block so that the rover knows when to turn. Uncheck the break box when you want the entire procedure to continue after an if block returns true.
Wow! 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 Wow!
All right, this is it. The final stretch. Cowboy, I know the road looks rocky, but if anyone can do it, it's you.
If we use these variables together, we can use the rocks to create complex movement. Check inverse to tell the if block to search if the variable is false instead of true. Find two conditions that will allow the rover to let the rocks indicate when to turn.
If you get confused, try smashing random things together to see if that works. It ain't rocket science.
Wow! 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 Wow!